Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Welcome. I'm Amber from Small Business Britain, and today we're talking all about email marketing, the beginner's guide to email marketing, with our fantastic expert, Manal Patel, who is the founder of Marketing by Manal. Hello, Manal.
Hi.
I just said Manal so many times in that sentence. Just listen to it myself. So we will get started. Please do say your hellos in the chat box. Let us know your business. I can see people already saying hello in there. As we go throughout the session, please do use the Q&A function to put your questions in. We've got lots of people on the line with us today, so it just makes it a little bit easier for us to see it. As you can see on our screen, today's session is in partnership with the fantastic Lloyds Bank Academy. We have been partnering with them for nearly 2 years now, I think, with a fantastic program of webinars all the way from finance, stress management to things like today, email marketing. You can check out all out on Lloyds Bank Academy's website. Everything is free for small businesses, and you don't have to be a customer of Lloyds Bank to access, so it's an amazing resource. We are recording today's session. That is the number one question we always get, and you will receive a recording afterwards with any follow-up resources. I'm going to hand over to Manal in just a second, and I'll be back at the end for any questions. So over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Amber. So you're going to get my title slide now. So thank you, Amber, and Small Business Britain and Lloyds Bank Academy for asking me to speak today. Now, everyone who's watching today or will watch the recording is doing it for one reason. You find email marketing a challenge. So it's not a surprise. It's something that I hear from businesses all the time. But over the next kind of 45-ish minutes, I'm going to show you that it doesn't have to be nearly as scary as you think. So today, email marketing allows us to reach customers wherever they are. And this statistic actually surprised me. I thought it was higher, but I think the last couple of years have reduced it. But 40% of people in the UK access their emails, open their emails on a mobile device. And that means, your emails have to be easy to read. So instead of having something that's long and tedious with lots of writing and just reams and reams of text, I really recommend that you start off with a master email marketing template. It helps you to save time when you're creating your emails. It means you're not starting from scratch every time. And it helps you to look great in whatever inbox people open your email. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. And a little bit later, I'm actually going to go into my email account and I'm going to show you how to put together a template. And you can follow those instructions when you watch back this recording. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to just touch on why email marketing needs to be part of your overall marketing strategy. I said the S word there. Strategy is not scary. It's a plan. It's what you should be doing to help you reach new customers and existing customers. And you should have a mix of marketing tools that help you do that. Then we're going to look at what I think are the 7 essential elements of email design. As I mentioned, I'll pop into my email account and I'll show you how to create a template, and you can use that as a basis for you to create your own template. It doesn't matter what email tool you use, this will work for you. You might be restricted in terms of templates you can pick in your tool. Everything that I show you today, you'll be able to replicate. Then we're going to talk a bit about how to grow your email list, another question I always get asked. And then a really important bit, how to design your call to action. The call to action is the thing that you want people to do, and that's really important. So why should you be using email marketing? I've said that it should be part of your marketing strategy, and there's a really important reason. It's because it's hard to beat. Everyone is in their inboxes. If you're in the chat today, just type yes if you've checked your email already today. Let's have a look and see who's checked their emails today. Yeah, I can see the yeses coming in and pouring in. So you can see people are in their inboxes, and that's somewhere that you can absolutely reach existing and potential customers. More than that, people check their emails daily. We've just proved it. 99% of people check their inboxes daily, if not more frequently throughout the day. It's reliable. So it gets delivered 90+% of the time. It gets into people's inboxes, and we're all really frustrated with social media reach. We're always looking at the next thing that is going to help us beat the algorithm. So to have that reliability is a really good thing for your business, and it works. It's got 3 times the conversion rate of social media, and I'm talking about organic here, so organic sort of social media. And for every pound that you spend, you've potentially got a return on investment of £35.41. And I say every pound you spend because I firmly believe that you should be paying for your email marketing tool. It's too important not to pay for it. So Amber told you a little bit about me, but before we kick off, I'll just tell you a little bit more. So I started my business in 2016, and I can't believe I've been in business for 6 years. It's incredible to think about. And before that, I was head of marketing for a company called Constant Contact. And amongst other things, Constant Contact does email marketing. That's where my love for small business began, which is really odd because my family have owned a small business one way or another the whole time I was growing up. And that probably put me off. But working at Constant Contact, I came in contact with loads and loads, hundreds of small business owners like you that really started my love for small business. So I was made redundant in 2016, and that's when I decided to work for myself because I wanted to keep working with small businesses. So I'm taking my 20+ years of marketing, which I feel really old about, and working with businesses to help them understand how they can market themselves effectively. I do things like one-on-one coaching, so you can work with me one-on-one to get the results that you want. But I also do things like this, training and presenting. I'm a accredited Constant Contact partner, which means I've taken exams around email marketing and a little bit more because they do more than email marketing. I'm also a Small Business Britain champion, which is why I'm here today. And I work with Enterprise Nation, so I do training through them for the likes of Amazon and Vodafone. Now, you can see all the ways that you can connect with me on the screen there. I'd love for you to join my email list. It's called The Marketing Morsel. It's a weekly email, but it's more than that. You can see the QR code on the screen there, so go ahead and scan it. You'll go to a landing page. It will tell you what more you get, but you get things like member-only webinars, a private Facebook group with exclusive access to content that isn't available anywhere else. You get direct access to me. You also get the opportunity to attend my mini mastermind, which happens 4 times a year. So I'd love to see you on my email list. Okay, before we dive into how to create your email template, let's look at those 7 design elements that I was talking about earlier. Now, first and foremost, we want consistency. So you want a similar look and feel to your emails, to the rest of your marketing, the rest of everything that you have that presents that public face of your business. And you want to establish that brand right away in your emails. So let's look at what this master email template looks like. It's a template that you can create once and you reuse all the time to send out your emails. You make a copy of it and you send out your emails using that one template. So these elements are things that are going to be consistent throughout your templates. You have your header information. That's the from name, the email address, the subject, the pre-header text. Then you always have your logos. You've got your logo, you'll want to include an image, you have that message body, so it's what you're telling people, the call to action, which we talked about, the thing that you want people to do. And then you have a footer that has some information that you want to let your readers know about all the time. It stays consistent. So in this case, it's a shop's opening hours and their address and contact details. Now, that's your master email template. Now, when you create your email using this template, these are the things that you're going to change. So everything stays consistent. You're starting from a base and you can change things. So you'll want to change the subject. You'll want to create that pre-header, the subject and pre-header, to entice people to open your email. You'll add that image. You've created a space to add the image. You'll write the text of that email. Short and sweet is what I believe. So you can see there are 2 paragraphs of text on that template. You'll change the link on that button, and you'll change perhaps the text on that button. And that's all you're changing. So when you're creating your email, you're not starting from scratch. It makes things much easier. And you realistically, all you're focusing on is the message of that email. So if you're at the beginning of your email marketing journey, this is a really good way to help you create that email and be consistent and send it out on a regular basis. So I promised you that we would look at how to do that in my own account. So let me just stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to get my my email account up, and okie dokie. Right. Oh, what have I done? Let's open that up, and I am going to share that screen. I'm just going to turn off my video so that I can see the screen better. So hopefully you can see this screen. This is my constant contact account, and this is where I'm going to show you how to create your template. Now remember, everything that I'm going to show you in this account is what you can replicate no matter what email marketing tool you use. So the first thing I'm going to do is click create, choose email, and then I'm going to wait for the templates to pop up. You can see that there are tons of templates here for you to choose from. What I'm going to do is head to the layouts, because I like to pick a layout that I think, I'm going to choose this one that I think will work for me. And that brings up this email, which, let's face it, looks a bit dull and boring. So we've got a little bit of work to do to make it look like it's coming from our brand. And so because it's coming from me, I'm going to make it look like my brand. So the first thing I'm going to do is edit this template to make sure that it matches my branding. So in this design tab here, I'm going to change a few things, and you'll start seeing the changes on this middle bit in the screen there. So I like to have a white background because it just makes it easier, it makes it cleaner. And when people reply to my email, the reply comes on a white background. So it makes it easier for the person who's typing their email to see what they're typing, but it makes it easy for me to read as well. And then the other thing I'm going to do here is just change the color of the dividers. You can get your hex colors from your brand. If you don't know how to do that, you can, if you're using Chrome, you can install this ColorZilla color picker, and you go anywhere, you click on that and you click anywhere on your website to pick up the colors that you're using. But I've got my colors already in here, so I'm going to create that, make that blue, and that's all I'm going to change there. And with the fonts, I'm going to make a few changes here. So my heading, I'm going to change to Roboto because that's my font. I'm going to make it purple. It's already bold. With the body text, again, Roboto, I'm going to take that up to 16 point. You can see that change there because I just feel that makes it easier to read when people are reading on a mobile. And I'm going to change the body link color to my green, and it's bold, and I'm going to underline it so people know that it's a link. And the body link will be any piece of text. So you can have a piece of text in your email that you can link to something, and people will be able to click on it. And that's all I'm going to change there. And of course we want a button. So you can see this button here. It's black, but I don't want it to be black. My buttons are always this green, and I'm going to take up the text here to 18 point. And that's all I'm going to do in the design tab. And that's enough for me to get a look and feel for my email that looks like it's coming from me. Okay, so let's head over to the build tab. So in the build tab, you'll want to make sure that your header information is consistent. So you can see that my from name is set to marketing by Manal, and my from email and reply to email addresses are already set. Your subject line and your pre-header, these are placeholder text. You'll want to change those every time you create an email. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in some other bits and pieces. So we talked about logos and other things. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add I don't have a logo for my email. I have a masthead. And what I'm going to do, because we like to click on images, and particularly since we have been in, since lockdown, really, we've done lots of online shopping and we're used to clicking on images. Oh, let's put my cursor in there. So I'm going to link this to a services page on my website. So anytime somebody clicks on this when they receive my email, they'll be sent straight to my website. I don't need this logo here, so I'm going to delete that. Let's do that. So I want my email to be seen by more than just people on my email list. I want them to be able to share it with people on their social networks. So I'm going to add a social share bar up here, and I'm going to edit it. So I'm actually going to make it my purple, so it looks really cool. It looks like part of the email, part of my brand. And you can see the social networks here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this email so people can forward it. So that's a way for people to share my email with people they think it will be useful for. The next thing I'm going to do is pull in a heading. Now, remember, when we went into the design tab, we created a heading, we changed the color to purple and bold. So that's already set now. So whenever I want to pull in a heading, that will always be purple and bold. Then I'm going to go into this text block. I do not want it centered, so it's going to be left aligned. And I like to put a greeting in my emails because I just think it's a nice thing to do, to put something in that makes people feel like it's to them. So you can see that the personal greeting, it's hello, first name, and the default greeting is hello. So when you collect people's email addresses, if they've given you their first name, it will say hello, first name. If you don't have that, it will default to just hello. And I think that's a little bit friendlier than launching straight into the email. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot to put in my image. So I need an image block just here. So I want my image that I can add underneath my headline. And this image is always linked to what you're talking about in the email. So it makes it easy for people. If they don't have time to read the whole email, that image will tell them what the email's about. So that's your image block. You've got your text here. We've got our button here already, it's added, but what I'm going to do is just pull in another text block under here, and that will be my sort of finishing paragraph. I might tell people that they can email me if they want to, or give them my phone number. And then I like to finish off with my signature. So I just like it to look like it's coming from me. And there's my signature. And I will put that on the left because everything else is on the left. That's pretty much the main part of your email. Now, the next thing I want to do is add a footer, but I want to put in a divider here. And remember, we set our divider color to blue when we designed the email. And then what I'm going to do is scroll down here, pull in this column, and then replace this text. So I'm going to put in my business name, and I'll put in my phone number. And all of this is real, so if you want to give me a call and test that, you can do. Then I'm going to put in my business hours. Let myself finish early this year, so I changed my business hours to finish at 4 o'clock every day this year, and it's been brilliant. I've loved it. So I would tidy that up a little bit, so I'd make that align a bit more, but we don't have time today. And then what I'm going to do is put another divider under there. So I'm just going to copy this one and drag it under. So that's my footer. And then I've got my social media icons here. So these ones are where people can follow you on your social networks. So we can edit these too. So I'm going to put a bit of color on this because I like people to see color on my emails. So there are a number of different styles that you can pick. So it could be a circle, square. So there's 4 styles that you can choose from and 4 different colorways. You can also add more social networks. So I have LinkedIn and I also have YouTube. But you can see there's a number of other things that you can add there. And you just put in your links here to your social networks, and you only have to do it once. So if you create a different template, these will already be pre-populated. Haven't got time for that today, so let's finish that off, and I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit, take out some of the gaps. Now, for me, I don't have the information today, but because my company is a limited company, there's a legal obligation for me to put my limited company details on the bottom of this email as a footer. Now, you might want to put it up here. So I generally put marketing by Manal. So it would be my limited company email, limited company name, trading as Marketing by Manal, my registered office, and my company number. So that can go in a footer as well. And that's it. So that is your master email template done. That didn't take us very long at all. And I'll just rename that here. So and then every time you want to create an email, you can copy this master template and make those changes that you need to make, knowing that these things all stay the same. And what you're doing is adding in a picture, changing the headline, changing the text, putting a link in there on the button, but everything else stays the same. So with that, I'm going to head back to the slides. So just give me a second to set that up. And I will turn my camera back on again. Oh. So that's my master template. And it didn't take very long to create. And I know I went through it really quickly, but you can watch this back on the recording. And I've also got something at the end of the webinar that will help you as well. But once you've got that, you're ready to go with your email, and it will just make you that bit more consistent. So next thing is you've got your master template, you want to start sending out emails, but you need a list. And growing your list is all about where and how you ask. Now, with the how, you should focus on how often your readers will hear from you and what you'll tell them. So that transparency helps people to be comfortable with handing over their email addresses, because they know exactly how much you'll email them, and they'll understand the value that they'll get in those emails. So where do you ask? You ask everywhere. Everywhere that you can think of. Make a list of all the places that you come into contact with your potential subscribers, the people that you want to be on your email list. And everyone talks about having massive email lists. It's not the number that counts. It's the quality of the contacts that you have on your list. These people need to be relevant for your business. So I've got some ideas for you on the screen there. But really, you just ask wherever you think your potential customers live, and it could be online or in the real world. QR codes have made a massive comeback. They're the only thing that has really done well out of COVID, I think. But QR codes are everywhere now, and use those to your advantage, because it's very easy to scan a QR code and tap in your name and your email address for to join somebody's list. So grab a piece of paper and make a list of all the places that you come into contact with your potential audience, your target audience. And those are all the places that you have to ask, and do that. I would recommend you do that with your email tool. So set up a little landing page on your email tool. They all have them, list building tools, and share that link in as many places as you can. So how do you write your email? So it's something that is really important, and people get stuck on this. You've got your master template. What should you be putting in it? Oh, so here's what you should be saying and how you should say it. And I'm going to frame that in 3 questions that you should ask yourself when you're putting together your email. The first is, what are you offering? So that's your headline. We put that headline in at the top, and that's to grab people's attention and make them stop and read that email. So it's a sort of attention grabbing headline. The next thing is, how is it going to help them? That's your body text. What are you offering? What is it going to benefit? How is it going to benefit the reader? How's it going to make their life easier? How is it going to make their life more fun? How is it going to save them time? All of these benefits that your product or service has, it's to get that into that body text and help people understand what that thing is, what you're communicating, how it's going to help them. And the next question is, what should they do next? So that's your call to action. That's what you want them to go on and do next. And realistically, just keep it simple. Have a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. That simplicity makes your email easy to read and quicker for you to create an email each time you do. Now, you might want to put more than one thing in your email, and that's perfectly fine. I would just recommend that you put the most important thing at the top of your email, and the other things that you want to communicate underneath it. And you can even have a short paragraph that does an intro that tells people what's in that email, so they know that they have to scroll down. But put the most important thing at the top. But if you can stick to this simple formula, you'll get really good results, because people will know straight away what you are offering, but it won't take you as long to put together. So how do you design your call to action? So the call to action, the CTA, is the thing that you want people to do, whether it's signing up to something, buying something, registering for an event. Your call to action is what's going to help you to reach your goals. And I like to put a call to action in all my emails, because I like to know what works with my readers and what they're interested in. So I would say that there's a reason why you should be putting a call to action in every email. But if you haven't got one, that's fine. If it's just an informational email, that's fine too. Now, there are probably a million different ways that you can approach this, but I'm just going to give you a few examples. So one thing that you might want to do is get people to buy something. So this is a real kind of action-led thing. So order yours today. They're going fast, get yours. Or if you're someone like me that works with other businesses, schedule a consultation. So you're telling people the action that you want them to complete. Who doesn't love a good deal? So it may be that you're offering, they've got a sale, or there's something that they can save on, or you've got a coupon. So these are ways to help people, to give them a deal and realistically, when we sign up to consumer brands, quite a lot of us sign up to their emails to get offers and deals. So it's not a bad thing to do that some of the time. I would just recommend not to do it in every single email that you send, but it's okay to do it sometimes. You might want to promote your social media channels. So you may have people on your email list that don't follow you on social media. And it's not a bad thing to ask them to do that, because if you send your email out once a month, you want to be able to communicate with them maybe on a more regular basis. So having them see your social media posts is a great way to build that relationship, continue the relationship that you've started by having them join your email list. Feedback and review. So another common goal that we have is to get that feedback, to understand whether we're doing the right thing, whether we're providing good customer service, whether people want or need something from us that we haven't recognized, because let's face it, we're not mind readers. So we need to ask these questions. So tell us how we did. Do you love us? Tell us. Have 5 minutes, leave a review. Now, I wouldn't do this again. I wouldn't do it in every email, and it's you can do it as a transactional email. So if somebody has bought something from you, they can get a follow-up email after that to give you a review or leave some feedback. If you want to ask your list in general, I wouldn't do it all the time. So I would sort of do it maybe once or twice a year, where you ask people to leave a review if they've bought something from you or they've attended an event that you've done. It'd be great to get some feedback. So generate event registrations. This is one that I use a lot, because I speak at events a lot. So whether I'm doing something like this for someone else, or it's an event of my own, I will use calls to action in my email and on social media, actually, to help people understand what I want them to do next. So it could be as simple as register now, or it could be something like, if you're doing a reminder and you've got a few more places that you want to fill, it could be that you tell people, oh, only 6 spaces left, reserve yours now. So it's really important to understand what your goal is when you start writing that email. What is it that you want people to do? And pairing that call to action up with what that is, and using action words. You can see in every example that I've given you, there's lots of calls to action that tell people the action that you want them to do. So it's using those sort of action-oriented words makes it abundantly clear what you want them to do next. And at a point where, you know, when I asked you who checked your inboxes today already, loads of you said yes. When you're checking your inbox and you have, you know, dozens of emails that are in there, you're going to prioritize the ones that you look at. So knowing, when you look at an email, knowing exactly what that person wants you to do next in as little time as possible will help you take that action. If you have to search for that call to action, you're not going to bother. I know that I do that all the time. I get long emails from people all the time. I'm signed up to a number of lists, and I quite frankly lose the will to live when they're that long. I just want to know what it is that you want me to do, because quite frankly, you had me at the subject line. Because if I've opened your email, the subject line has interested me and I want the thing that's in the email. And if I have to work hard to get that thing, really, I'm not going to bother, because I've got other things to do. I've got clients to work with. I've got my own marketing to do. So I need for you to get to the point really quickly. And that's why that simple picture, paragraph, action formula is going to help you to get that action from your subscribers more easily. So let's talk about the other part of creating a successful call to action, and that's linking your buttons. So in most cases, you're going to link your buttons so that people can take action from your email directly. Now, whether it's you want them to find out more information on the topic or register for an event, maybe you want them to buy something, you need to make sure that you take them directly to the place that they perform that action. So that means if it's, like our Facebook page, you need to direct them straight to their Facebook page. If it's register for this event, you need to direct them to the registration page. If you leave them to try and find the place that you want them to go to, they're not going to bother. They're just not going to bother. And the chances of completing that action decreases. So make sure if you've got a blog that you want them to, blog post that you want them to read on your website, link directly to that blog post. Chances are that when they have read that blog post, they'll look around the rest of your website, but you want them to go straight to that place. If you're spotlighting a particular product in your email, link directly to that product page. Don't leave it up to your reader to find what it is that you want them to go and look at. Okay. So, recap. We went over the 7 elements, design elements that it takes to create your email. Use those elements and create your master template. I can't tell you how much help it is. And this is not something that I am going to tell you to do and not do myself, because even though I created that today in the demo, I actually do have a master template and I do use it every week to create my email. And the last time I timed myself, because people ask me how long it takes me to create my email. The last time I timed myself, it took me 13 minutes from start to finish to create my email. That's from putting in the content to sending myself a test so that I could see that it all looked okay and I could test the links. Now, you probably won't get there that fast, that quickly, but doing it consistently in practice over time will help you to speed up. And that master template is going to get you there. Next thing, keep your email simple, small amounts of text, one image. You don't need any more than that. One really stonking image that helps people understand what's in your email and why they should carry on reading. And that call to action to help people understand what it is that you want them to do next. Use one call to action if you can, because one works best. When we limit people's choices, people make a choice. I liken it to, this happens to me all the time when I go out for a meal. If I'm handed a book that's a menu, it takes me forever to pick what I want to eat. And if we're in a group, I'm invariably the last person to choose because there's too much choice. I always get food envy as well. If I'm given a menu with fewer choices, I pick really quickly. So limit people's choices by using one call to action. And there we have it. So I hope I've given you the inspiration you need to get started with email marketing. Before I hand over to Amber to look at the questions and answer your questions, just let me give you something that I've talked to you about today. It's a cheat sheet that I've put together that's going to help you to create emails that get action. So the layout on there is entirely the layout of the master email template that I talked about. And you can get that via the link on the screen, or you can scan that handy QR code. So with that, I will hand over to Amber and questions.
Hello, Manal. Thank you so much. Amazing. I was thinking, where'd your camera go?
I thought I'd clicked it.
I just want to say massive thank you. That's such an informative and amazing webinar, as always. Lots of thank yous for you in the chat as well. Yeah, so we have lots and lots of questions. I've been keeping a note of them. So I'm just going to dive straight in. We've got about 15 minutes to go through them, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I just saw... there we go. Right, okay. So starting from the very top, Karen Shepherd has asked, how often should you send an email? And I think this is the most common question we get whenever we do an email marketing webinar.
Yeah. So listen, that's up to you. Okay. You've got a million things to do running your business. So to make sure that this happens consistently, pick a frequency that you can cope with. I would advise not to go less than once a month, because people forget that they've signed up, and if they don't hear from you regularly. So whatever frequency you decide, make sure it's manageable, that you can actually get your email out at that frequency. And it just make it work for you. When I started my list, I decided I was going to send every week, and I do that. It's worked into my schedule, and I plan my content. I plan my content 3 months in advance, so I know what I'm going to send every week. So I've got all my emails plotted out until the end of July, so I know exactly what's going out. And
so organized.
Thank you. Or is it the end of June? End of June. And then in the middle of June, I'll plan out the next 3 months of content and what's going in my emails. But do what works for you. Because if you decide like you're going to send twice a week and that doesn't happen, it's just demotivating. So pick what works for you, and schedule it with yourself, schedule a time with yourself to do it. And be consistent, and be patient as well, because it takes a little bit of time, but it does work.
Yeah. And I always remember you saying, make sure you set the expectations with your email list. So if you're going to do it weekly, communicate that and stick to it. Or if you're going to do it twice, I think that's good. Okay, so next question, which I think is really interesting actually. Matthew has said, I was told by my email provider that putting links into emails makes it more spammy. So should we reduce the amount of links we put into emails?
It can look spammy, but as I just mentioned before, when you put lots of links in, it gives people too many choices and they tend not to click on anything. So that's why I stick to one link in my email. But you saw me when I created the template, I actually linked the email header. I linked that to my website. And then by the time you add in your social share and social follow, there are quite a lot more links in your email than you would imagine. What you want people to do is do that one thing that's really important for you in that email, which is why I suggest that you stick to one call to action. But if you have 3 things, make sure that the most important thing is the thing at the top, so that people see that straight away. But yeah, just I know Constant Contact did research. I don't have that slide in this deck, but I think they analysed something like a billion of their customer emails, and they found that emails with one link performed the best for click rate, and any more than 3, the click rate dropped off. So it's more important for people to do that action. So just limit their choice.
Okay, great. Following on from that question, we've got another one saying, when adding in links, is there any point adding the same link in more than once?
Yes, and I'll tell you when. When you in that slide where I talked about an image, a paragraph, and a call to action, that image should be connected to what you're talking about in the email, and that image should be linked to the same place as your button. Because when I look at my emails, every now and again I'll go in and when I look at the reports, I've got a heat map that tells me where people clicked in my email. And every time I do look, 100% of my clicks always happen on the image, which is why I include a clear image that tells people what's going to be in that email. And invariably they click on that. And I've experimented and started adding a little button to the image, which I think makes them do that even more. So have your image and your button linked to the same place.
Okay, yeah, I did my constant contact training with Manal, and I love looking at that heat map. And exactly the same for us.
Yeah.
You always see everyone clicks on the image, so definitely use any links on there as well, because everyone seems to click on there. Okay, so moving on, it's about call to actions, and I think you have already answered it, but just to clarify for everyone, is it okay to have a few different CTAs throughout the email, or do you recommend just sticking to one?
I only ever have one in my
Okay.
emails. But I'd say like 3 maximum. And I can't remember where I read this research, but apparently our brains recognize things in patterns of 3. So having 3 in there is fine. Put the most important one at the top and the other 2 underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a bit of a scroll. So you might have a button at the top with the main thing, and then underneath maybe 2 columns with a button underneath each of them.
Okay.
I'd say don't go more than 3 if you can.
Okay.
I just liken that. I still get the emails, but money saving expert, their emails are a nightmare. They're an absolute nightmare.
Yes, I get those as well, and I do find the information interesting, but
Yeah.
I'm not a money expert, and I'm trying to break down
Yeah.
all the information, and there's
Yeah.
so much on there.
So many things, so many links. In a framed email as well. So you've got this middle bit and then you've got the things down there, and it's just too much. And you try reading that on a mobile phone. It's next to impossible, which is why I just get my information from their Facebook page now. Very rarely read their email.
I think they need to come to you for some email marketing training. Amazing. Okay, right. So Lisa has just said, is all of that functionality available in the free version of Constant Contact? So when you was doing the demo, is that all in the free version, or
so Constant Contact doesn't have a free version. You can start a 60-day trial, and if you signed up for that cheat sheet, you will get an email from me with a link where you can do that. It starts at £9.99 a month plus tax, so it's probably about £12 a month. And everything that I showed you to create a master template is everything that you'll be able to do in there. But again, you'll be able to take that and use it in whatever email tool that you use. So you'll be able to create a master template just using that sort of layout in any email tool.
Okay, great, thank you. So we've got a comment from Rosie. She says, great presentation. I just wondered, how do you size your images so that they fit both desktop and mobile?
So this is an interesting thing. So I actually did a webinar for my list. So they get 4 webinars a year just for them. And it was about creating images for email marketing. And in that there is, and I can't remember off the top of my head, there is an ideal size of image for that works on desktop and mobile. What I tend to do is have quite a big sort of oblong image, and I test it. So when I put together my email, when I'm creating the image, I try not to put lots of little writing on it. So I try and stick to a few words of writing. So the one that went out this week was about 10 ideas for your newsletter. And that I only put the blog title on the image, and it was, I don't know, it was like a 96 point. And then what I do is once I've put the email together, I send it to myself as a test, and I look at it on my mobile and I look at it on the screen on my monitor. And if I can't read the text in the image on my mobile, then I go back and make the text bigger. And it's difficult because all of us have different mobiles that render in different ways. So I would say try not to put too much text on your images, and the text that you do have, make it really big.
Okay, great, amazing. Okay, so the next question is from Debbie. What are the legalities of cold calling emails, please? So tough question.
Cold calling emails, like cold emails.
Yeah, Debbie, if you could clarify, I think maybe someone that's not on her email list,
Okay.
like officially?
So this is going into the realms of GDPR, and I'm not a legal expert. Personal information. So if it's somebody's personal email address, even if it's available in the public domain, you can't without them having opted in.
Mm-hmm.
If they've bought something from you and have handed over their email address as part of that purchase, you can email them with other things that are connected to that purchase. So, for example, I buy a pair of glasses and I'm not on my optician's mailing list, but as part of my purchase, part of maybe the booking process, I've given my email address.
Okay.
They can then go on to email me about contact lenses, about super duper cases that will protect my glasses, other things that are connected with what I've bought. It's less clear on work email addresses.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I've just mentioned to you is called legitimate interest under GDPR, but really it's a minefield. And I'd say even before GDPR, we had a data protection act, we had data protection legislation. And I would say that unless they've given you explicit permission, don't just grab their email address from LinkedIn and add them to your email list. Get permission from them.
Okay, because definitely get permission, Debbie, before emailing. Right, okay, so next question is from Amanda. Is all of this available in every email tool, for example, Gmail and Outlook?
Outlook is a consumer email client, so you'll create emails that you would send to people, as you know, like I would send Amber an email. Amber emailed me just before this to say, I'm just making sure you've got the link to join and I'll see you in 10 minutes. So that's what you would use Outlook and Gmail for, and they don't have this stuff because they're not email marketing tools. The reason to use an email service provider is because they have this entire framework that they've all spent years and years and years developing, that helps you create the templates, that helps you send professional looking emails, that helps you grow your email list, that manages your unsubscribes. And the bit that I didn't even get into today, the really fun bit, is the reports. So actually knowing who opened your emails, what they clicked on, who clicked on that, who unsubscribed, whose email address doesn't exist anymore. So perhaps they typed it in incorrectly, or they no longer work at the place that they signed up at. So all of those things is what that tool manages for you automatically, and you can't get that in Outlook and Gmail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think it's mainly MailChimp, Constant Contact. I think you mentioned another one before,
Flowdesk. I'd never heard of it. One of my clients uses it. So I create her emails for her in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so a few more questions before we have to wrap up. So can you use Canva to create an email template?
Oh, I've not tried it. No, I don't think you can. I don't think they have that functionality. But once again, I'd say that you want to use the templates within your email tool, because there's what all these companies have done is they've coded your emails. They've coded their templates to be able to resize for the device that people view them on. So they're mobile responsive. And if you could create one image in Canva that would go in your email, but then if people don't have download image as a default, they'll just get a big blank. So I would say create an image in Canva to put in your email, but you can't create a whole template in Canva, and nor would you want to, because it wouldn't be mobile responsive.
Yeah. Okay, great, thank you. So have you got any tips on newsletter format?
What do you mean by format?
I think they mean just the flow of the newsletter.
So what I'd say is, this is coming from you, and quite often, I think most people on this webinar, they'll be the only person in their business. So it's a chance for you to let your personality shine through. So I tend to write my emails how I speak. So I'm pretty informal. I like to be, friendly. I come across as not like a big organization. And I stick to the format that I've shown you today. So I have a headline, an image, a bit of text, get into it straight away, a button, closing off text, and my signature. And I've had every year I do a survey to understand what people's priorities will be in marketing for the following year. And I ask people who are on my email list to give me feedback about my emails. And every year, I always get feedback that they love that it's short and to the point, and that it's easy to read, and it's easy to scan. So that's why I keep it really simple. And again, simple again, because it doesn't take a huge amount of time to put together.
Yeah, always with your emails, always know what you want straight away. It's just not too many sentences.
No.
So yeah, I think that is the way forward. Okay, so we've got a question from Tracy. What to do about accessibility when it comes to email templates?
So as I mentioned, if you use a template that an email service provider has created, it is going to be it's going to be mobile responsive. So that's automatically going to help people with visual impairments who aren't blind completely to be able to read the text on your screen. The other thing that I'd recommend you do is where you put an image into your email, you will have it'll be called different things in different email tools, but it'll either be called image description or alt text or alternative text, and that's a place for you to write a description in there of what's in that email. And that's going to help people who use screen readers, those screen readers are going to read what's in that image. The other thing is to not have tiny text in your email. I was looking at an email this morning from, I won't say who they are, but it was a Chamber of Commerce, and it looked like the email had, I don't know, 11-point text on it. I'd say don't go under 16-point text for the main body text of your email, because that just helps people see that more clearly. So keep it to 16, your headlines at 22 or 24-point text, so they're easy to read. And again, any text that you have on images, make that big. So use those things, and especially the alt text. And it's in lots of things now. So if you tweet an image on Twitter, it gives you the opportunity to put a description in there so that people who are using screen readers can see what they can, the screen reader will tell them what's in that image. And quite often it's a good idea to put a call to action in that description as well, so that people who are using screen readers know what you want them to do. Yeah,
I think it's across most social media platforms now, and it's obviously such a super important topic. So yeah, thank you for that question, Tracy. I have another one which is interesting. How would you suggest getting over your business brand and personality across when it comes to plain text email?
I think that's going to be in the style that you write. So if you haven't, work out what your tone of voice is, and your tone of voice is one of the things that you work on when you create your brand. So when I sat down and thought about my brand at the beginning of when I started my business, one of the things that I wanted to come across as was like no nonsense, no jargon, no tech, it was just everything needed to be clear and simple. So even if I were to send out a plain text email without any of the gubbins of a HTML email, and there would be no color, no logo, the tone of voice would sound like me. And I make a really big effort to do that across everything that I do. So in my social media, on my website, in my blog posts, in my emails, when you're talking to me. So this, how I'm speaking now, is how I sound in everything that I write. So really, really focus on what your tone of voice is and how you want to come across to people who read things from you. And that needs to fit in with your overall brand. And if you haven't worked that out, search out a brand expert who can help you figure all of that stuff out.
Great, thank you so much. And we're just bang on 12 o'clock. Thank you so much for answering all those questions.
You're welcome.
I've been firing them at you for the last 20 minutes. You did an amazing job. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your questions. And I'm sorry that we haven't been able to get through all of them. But we are around on hello@smallbusinessbritain.uk if you would like us to answer any more questions, and you will receive the recording after this session with follow-up resources, so you can always catch up if you missed out on anything. But that is it from us. We'll be back with some more Lloyds Bank Academy webinars very soon, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.